Facebook. Excuse me. So I'm Sam Neylan with Neylan Group International, and this is Brendie. I think
I'm Brendie of Heter Family Woodworking and wife of Noah, mother of Cash and Miles and Wade.
I like that there's so many ands on that. So if you were here, raise your hand if you were here with us last time, our last Facebook Live. Oh, good. So what are we doing here? We're going to kind of give people a couple minutes to log on and, you know.
I mean, you should already be here.
You should. Get your glass of wine. Do whatever it is you need to do. While you're doing that, I will say what we're doing here. So if you were here for our last Facebook Live, you heard us talk about, we had a lot of questions from people, from viewers about FPU, which is Financial Peace University. And you might remember that we had the treacherous Wall O' Dave last time, made up of a lot of these. We opted for something a little less hazardous this time, so there's just a few sprinkled about. Our purpose for today is, before we do that, we want to give a lot of credit to our camera crew and the person running the back of the house, which is Holly Worsham.
Thank you.
Woo, woo.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
She really is our secret sauce, I think. So at any time during the show, please give your shout outs to Holly as well if you're satisfied with the job she's doing, keeping us all connected. So what are we doing here tonight?
I mean, but can we talk about my hair first?
Oh, yes. Who is logging on, tuning in, whatever the phrase is, just so they can see what Brendie ended up choosing for her hair?
Well, there are about 10 people on currently, and
hey
my guess is 75% of them are here because of Brendie's hair. Or surprise, I should say.
Yeah.
Big reveal.
Hey, you guys, I don't leave the house very often, and so today I left the house and got my hair done.
Okay. And went to Target.
And went to Target. And I let Tiffany of N Style Salon in Santa Cruz, California, put red in my hair. I'm just feeling very crazy.
It's very sassy.
So
That's very sassy. Can I touch your hair and highlight it? Do you
so to
see
speak.
this? No pun intended. Do you see that? How awesome that is?
it's really fun.
We don't usually touch each other's hair. This is the first time that's ever happened.
We're getting weird.
First
Going
time.
weird.
Right here. Yep. Getting weird on Facebook Live.
I just want you to know that we have 17 friends joining us.
Hey guys.
Lots of fun people.
Yay!
We're so excited. Can you give us some
I'm
names?
happy to shout out some names, yeah.
Should
Emily
I still be holding
Baby,
this? Emily Baby.
Will Coleman,
Oh, Will, a graduate of FPU, and might I say, very successful in their lives as a result
Yes.
of their marriage. We love you guys.
Emma Stedman,
Hey, Emma.
Michelle Mueller,
Michelle Mueller, yay, from Simi Valley.
James Branghetto,
James Brendie, what's up, my friend? So, that's a long story. That's so fun.
he says hi a couple times.
Hi.
Jane Jones, Lauren Jones,
Oh.
lots of great people.
Okay, I have a friend there.
Yeah.
Lauren. Yay! One of my friends.
Lauren's awesome. Super awesome.
Same as
Jonathan Holmes.
Hey, Jonathan. Yay.
I kind of count him.
Emma Stedman said I literally waited all day for this.
We're so glad. Thank you so much. So all of you that are joining us thus far and those that are come, please ask us questions because that's kind of what makes this super fun. Do I need to be holding this?
No.
Viewers, do I need to keep holding this?
You don't, but I'm just going to hold this really quick.
Okay. Oh, I meant to move it back. Those of you who, I'm so excited you're here, but feel free to ask us anything about FPU. The purpose of the second Facebook Live is to talk about, so we've had session 1 and session 2 so far with our group here in Santa Clarita. And so we wanted to kind of give highlights or some debrief thoughts on that. Questions from you guys. If you've already taken FPU, maybe you want to offer things that have been the most helpful for you in your life, whether that's your marriage, your job, whatever, as it relates to how finances have helped that or managing your finances. And if you don't know what we're talking about and you want to know, we're probably going to cover some of that along the way. So anything we should know, Holly, before we launch into anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, great.
Launch away.
I'm actually, Jonathan Holmes, thank you so much for joining us because I believe you're in Ohio.
Oh, Kimiko Parker. I'm sorry. I missed her. I
Kimiko.
didn't mean to miss her.
Kamiko Parker,
Yeah.
awesome. Also in our last FPU class
Yep.
with her husband James. Love them too.
Chris Ivester?
Oh, Chris Ivester, yeah. We met in Montana this last summer at Alistair's memorial service. He and his wife, very cool cats. In fact, we had dinner, all of us, Emily, everyone together. Nobody cares except me. Okay, moving on.
And them.
And they care,
They
yeah.
care.
And it was one of their birthdays today. I think it was Jen's. Happy birthday. This is in honor of you. We did.
This goes out to you,
This
Jen.
one goes out to you.
Jen.
Holly, you raise your glass.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I missed it.
Let's talk about why we like this particular group of people in our FPU class right now. Financial Peace University is what we keep saying.
Yeah. So I would say that this class that we have this round is, we have a lot of teachers in this class, teachers that are local to the Santa Cruz Valley, and these teachers are currently teaching the high school version of Financial Peace University. So basically all of the things that 100% of humans wish that they would have been taught in high school or junior high. 100% believe that we should probably teach the next generation how to deal with money, since 100% of them will come in contact with money at some point in the next half an hour. So these teachers are on the front line and they are teaching the next generation, and so they have also chosen to go above and beyond and take the adult version with Sam and I coordinating on Tuesday nights. So it's a lot of fun.
And we got feedback from one of the teachers who's in FPU with us and teaching foundations is what the high school version is called. And he said that his students were so stoked that he was taking the adult version too. Like, just so much like authenticity in it, and he loves it.
Yeah.
He and his wife both love it. Yeah. One of the reasons I love this group is we have a nice blend of people. We have a teenager, I think she's 17 or 18. We have a couple of single parents. We have some singles with no children. We have a couple of we have one engaged couple. We have a couple of newlyweds that have been married less, like one
3
of them,
weeks.
3 weeks, and one of them 2 months. And then we have like 10 or 11 married couples, and everyone at a totally different spot. And here's what I love about this group. I mean, every group is good. This one's awesome because everyone's super transparent. And I don't get the sense that many people are protecting themselves, and they're just offering like genuine responses to going through the group discussions and going, oh my gosh, what?
I would say as a coordinator, usually it doesn't get into that level of transparency until a class 4 or 5, usually 5. And this class started out right out of the gate. So, do we have a question?
We do have a question from the floor. Michelle Molnar asks, can anyone join? And the second part to that, is there a cost?
Oh, great question, Michelle. Michelle is a team leader in Simi Valley, Keller Williams, and I love her. Do you want to take this, or do you want me to?
Anyone can join. Classes are held year-round all over the country.
Not as good as ours, though.
Not even close.
Not as good.
Our class is amazing, because we do stuff like this.
Friday night live.
That's
Just gonna get it.
who else does that? Guaranteed, there's no coordinators in the country that are doing this right now. Our class is already 2 sessions in. We do have one person that's starting next week. And there is a cost to join. The kit is, I think, $93 currently on Dave Ramsey's website. 100% of that goes to Dave Ramsey. We don't get commissions on this.
Wish I did.
I always say we would probably have a lot of money.
Killing it.
But I always like to say there's no pyramids of any kind involved in our class. No multi-level anything.
No.
So, but
My
anybody
favorite thing
can
that you say
join.
about that is that, and we're not going to ask you for the names and numbers of your 5 closest friends when you're in the class. That's my favorite one that she does.
But you have to say your 5 closest friends who might be interested in this kind of opportunity.
Opportunity. It's always an opportunity.
It's always we're not.
Could you
doing
use
that.
an extra $500 a month?
No.
That's my favorite.
From home.
Yeah.
So I think Michelle was her name?
Yes.
So yes, you can join, and if you'd like, you can send either Sam and I a message offline, and I can give you some tips on how you can catch up if you'd like to do our class.
I'm just gonna return this really quick.
Coasters.
We have some more comments and questions.
Okay, great. We love that.
Liz Tolentino says,
Liz,
"Hey
what's up?
guys,
Neylan Group, hey.
really enjoying FPU so far. The
Great.
budget exercise was enlightening. Thank you. I've talked about the FPU with several friends over the past week.
Okay.
Some friends want to know how often the classes are held and when they should be on the lookout for the next one.
This is a good one.
Good.
I'll take
Thank
this.
you, Liz. Yep, you take it.
Liz, this is a good question. So classes are held year-round. However, they tend to peak in September and in January. September, back to school, kids are back at school, things start to kind of formalize in terms of schedules. And then in January, people are usually waking up after the Christmas hangover and realizing what have they done to their budget and their finances. And so January is the New Year's resolution, weight and money, top two every year. And so I only know how to deal with one of those.
Right.
So if you can't make anyone in September, you should be looking out for January.
Yeah, and I also want to add to this, for those who really are just starting with the FPU data gathering, when Brendie says they're being held all over the country, it's individuals like us, well,
Yeah.
not like us because there's
Nobody's
no one like
Impossible.
us, obviously.
No.
But people who are hosting it, whether it's in their home, whether it's at their church, whether it's at the YMCA, whatever it is, they're being hosted by individual people or small organizations all around the country. That's I just wanted to make that clarification. It's a 9-week course. It's once a week for 9 weeks when it's being run.
We have some new friends who have joined us.
Hey, new friends.
Brandon Montemayor.
Brandon was my very first coach in real estate. Brandon, I think you know how awesome I think you are. In fact, can I just take a moment, everyone? I was just thinking of you today, Brandon, and thinking I need to text him and tell him that I think of him at least every other day because of how I'm growing in my business. So
That's a lot.
thanks for being here. Do you have a question for me, Brandon?
No questions so far,
Okay.
but Keith Reno has also joined us. I think we're trying to okay. Carrie Mitchell has also joined us.
Hey, Carrie's in the class.
Michelle Reno has joined us.
Awesome. Hey, Michelle, graduate of FPU, wife
So-
of Keith.
Let me just pause. Carrie Mitchell, you are a teacher who is teaching the high school version. So if you wanted to add any questions about or comments, I guess, about what the high school version is like, that could be interesting.
I think she's overseeing the department, and then I think it's Dave Crawford who's teaching it.
Maybe.
Or maybe.
you can
You
clarify
tell
that
us.
for us. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'd also like to point out that my tag is still on the shirt.
She's gonna return it later. No, I'm joking.
No,
She's
I
not.
bought this shirt like 17 minutes ago before the tour started. So I just want to point that
I love your transparency, Brenda. Thank
Carrie,
you.
what I would also love is if you want to throw out to our viewers, and Holly will read it, what you're liking about the FPU, the adult FPU that you're doing with us, because Carrie is one of those fantastic people who is completely transparent, totally offers what she's thinking and what she's going through, which we love, and has been very, has had a lot of candor in our class. So Carrie, is there anything about Financial Peace University so far that you think needs to be shared with the people who aren't there?
Well, hopefully she'll chime in.
Hopefully she will.
Linda Freeman's here also.
Linda Freeman!
Monica
Yay.
Jean.
Oh, hey, Monica. You're on my list to write back. I'm sorry I haven't done it yet.
Oh, you're great. Gail Ackerson Hartnett.
Oh, yes. Hi.
So Susie Zimmer Johnson says, "Hi team, Brendie's hair with the dancing emoji."
Yeah!
Oh yeah, she's loving that. Michelle Mulder asks another question. Can I get a class in my market center? You guys rock. Who is a good candidate?
This seems to keep happening.
We're on to something.
Yeah, we
By
are.
the
on
by.
something. Okay, so I will field this one. We should maybe talk a little bit more offline. My first thought would be, is there anyone in your market center who has done Financial Peace University already in their own life for themselves? And then usually that person gets really passionate about it and wants to tell other people about it. That would be the person that I would say maybe should think about facilitating it in your market center. But of course, we can talk offline for other options.
I'd like to just have a quick commercial break, and I'm wondering if anybody sees our little friend in the corner here. Can you spot it? Okay. Nope.
I'm wondering what it is. Does it?
Oh, it's that friend.
Okay.
So many friends.
Commercial break over.
So,
Okay.
do we have a question?
Michelle, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if not, I had a few questions from people who weren't going to be around for this live portion. So unless somebody had a question, I can give one of those.
I'm going to pause
There are
everybody
a
and
couple
say
questions,
one of
but-
my favorite parts from our last show was when you kept saying, "Can I ask and answer my own question?" And Holly kept not letting you do it and kept giving you other ones. And you're like, "Hey, can I ask and answer my
May
own?"
I? Nope.
Yeah, so let's have Brendie with her new fancy hair.
Brenda has 4.
I mean, that's really why we're doing this, yes. So one of the main questions that I get about FPU is what if I want to attend, but my spouse does not want to attend? So this is very tense, and it also can indicate there's already some sort of financial stress that's impacting the marriage. But what I like to say is, if you're watching this but maybe not comfortable sharing that question very publicly, is don't give up, whether it's this class or if it's another class. My number one recommendation for you is to go out with your spouse, partner, and have dinner and talk about your dreams. Talk about how you used to talk when you weren't married and weren't saddled with all the stress, and start dreaming again. That is what Financial Peace does. Financial Peace University gets people in a room and it forces them to dream again. And as I'm saying that out loud, I realize how unbelievably corny that sounds, but it's totally true. And so if you have a spouse that is reluctant to go on this journey to get your finances and goals in order, I would start by trying to get him or her, to dream again with you. And that usually, where would we go? Who would we help? Who would we serve? Those conversations are the nice way to kind of broach this subject.
Good.
So that was a question that I got offline, and the person typically not excited about sharing that publicly.
Makes
Can I add
sense.
this to that?
Yeah.
So I know Brendie gets this question a lot too, and I've gotten it enough to bring it up, where one of the partners will want to come to the class even without the other one. And here's the thing, while we think it's great to have the information or whatever, what we don't want to do is create more dissonance in your relationship. And I think on a 99% assurance level, we can promise you that if one person comes and then goes home and tries to,
It won't work.
it's not cool. So while I don't want to discourage people from doing what Brendie just said, because I encourage all that, I don't know that the I'll go and then I'll bring it home system totally works. So it's more, we would prefer you come there together. Holly, I feel like you have some things you'd like to say, maybe on behalf of others.
Susie Johnson has some things she'd like to say. She'd like some answers.
I love everything you have to say, Susie.
She says, Brendie, will you ever teach an FPU junior class? My kids need to start earning their keep.
First of all, I like your style.
Yes.
Okay. I love child labor.
As Ron Swanson says, child labor laws are ruined in this country.
So, hands down. What I would say to that question, well, I'm assuming what you mean first, Susie, is the actual Dave Ramsey has a product called Financial Peace Junior.
Oh, I should have brought it.
And it is specifically for, school age, pretty young children. I think some of the product that they have is for 3, 4, or 5 years old. So I don't really know what that looks like. I don't know if that means I'm coming to your house and talking to you at dinner, like after your kids are not cleaning up after themselves. But no, I have been approached a few times to do something similar. But at this point, there's nothing in the works to that. But guaranteed, now that you're taking the class and you guys are gonna rock it, by the way. So I was telling Susie this the other day. Being a coordinator for so long, I can tell instantly the people in the class that are gonna get it, the people that don't want to be there, and the people that I still need to convince. And Susie and her family are totally on board. So you're not gonna need me in about 45 minutes.
I was just gonna say, like,
you're gonna be able to take this stuff home, and you guys are gonna change your family tree, no problem. You don't need me.
And what we do want to say is we totally support you, and we would be happy to help you in any way, but really you are going to probably exceed what we are capable of.
Eric Zeller says hello from Dubai.
What's up? We are international again.
International.
Dubai. Dubai is an interesting place.
Dubai.
And you guys just posted something about your I saw Heather and you in Ibex. Was it Carrie who posted that? Awesome. You guys look like you're 4 years old. Hi.
I'm sorry. Michelle, go ahead.
Questions?
Also, I don't think they're allowing alcohol in Dubai.
Michelle Molnar asked, she had a follow-up question, what age do you need to be?
Oh, great question. So,
FPU.
Oh, FPU?
Okay.
Answer?
Well, sure. It's kind of an it depends. Generally speaking, we would say adults 18 and over. That being said, though, if you have I would say high schoolers or teenagers who are maybe a little bit more mature and ready for the information and maybe have track records of responsibility in their life already, it's probably perfect. Like we have she's 17.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 17-year-old in our class right now on her own. Her mom suggested that she go to the class with us, and she is there. So it kind of depends on the child, the person.
Yeah, and I would say typically when after class 1, 2, 3 and the parents really start getting on board, and I get this question, it depends, and also I kind of pose it as how much accountability do you really want? Because once you bring said offspring into class, talking about budgeting, whatnot, it can really help you.
Yeah.
Really make sure that the whole family, this is a whole family dynamic, because the kids need to know that the family structure is going to change a little bit in terms of how money happens. So I love it when kids come, as long as they're mature. Caveat.
And as long as the parents are mature.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That's good too. Great questions, Michelle. Thank you so much. I already can hear what's happening in your brain and how the wheels are spinning, which I love, of course.
I'm a little uncomfortable saying this next one out loud, but it's a direct quote from Noah Major Heter.
Okay.
Let's talk a little more about my hot wife's new hair.
Aww.
So that's
To
so
that.
sweet.
Thanks, babe.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching all of the children, so I could come out here and drink with Sam and talk about finances.
Carrie Mitchell also responded to your
Great.
comments / questions. Yes, you're right, Sam. I'm overseeing the financial course at Hart as department chair. Love the FPU class. Gives me hope for living a debt-free life.
Good.
Living on a teacher salary in SEV is tough, but possible. I'm looking forward to learning more.
Yes.
Great.
That is awesome.
Do you hear that? That is the
SCV?
voice of change for Santa
Yes.
Clarita Valley.
It's
That
exciting.
literally is.
Reconnect here. So, great. There we go.
Okay.
Michelle asks another question. Is it possible to get out of the $100? Probably to spend on for the
Get
supplies
out
for
of
the
it?
course.
What does that
Probably
mean?
not pay
Oh,
it.
is there a way?
Is there a way to not pay it? Maybe.
No.
Unless you know somebody.
Or unless you already have the kit. So if you've already taken the class, then you can come back and audit it.
Yeah.
I have a few kits in my possession. Actually, we've got 5. We sold 5 the last one. But no, here's my contribution on that. $100 is not that much money. Now, if you're $200,000 in debt, maybe $100 sounds like $1 million, and I understand that. However, if you want things to be different in your life, you're going to have to do different things, and $100 is putting some skin in the game. So I think it's a very, very small investment to make into something that can really change your whole life and your family's whole life and the future of your family and your legacy. So I don't know if that's what you were asking, but that's what I'm answering.
But there's also sometimes supervisors who'd like to do this for staff, and so if that might be a cost prohibitive thing to do business wise, there are some businesses who will either pay half. There are some businesses who will reimburse if their employees have taken all of the class, have attended all lessons. So if maybe that's what your question is, and I have got that before as well, there's some ways to make that as an incentive for your employees to come.
Yeah, like I'll throw one thing in there. I actually got this idea from Brendie a long time ago, but I've made the offer to certain people in my life who really were having financial woes at a deep, deep level, and I've made them a deal that if they pay for it and they attend every class and do all the homework, those are my two criteria, that I would reimburse them at the end. I don't offer that to everybody, obviously, that's just kind of case by case. But Michelle, if you're thinking from a staff point of view or whatever, there are ways that you can do that on your own. And interestingly enough, in 3 years of doing this, I've only had one person actually come back and ask me for that $100 because they took all the classes and did all of the homework, the ones that I had offered it to. And I've offered it to enough people.
Good enough. No.
Yeah, so that would be, but again, I think we both fully, wholeheartedly agree, $100 is not, $100 shows that you're putting something in, because people don't value things when they're for free, usually. They just don't value it. I don't,
And just to reiterate for anybody who's joined after the initial whatever, You're not making money off this. The $100 is for the kit.
Oh, totally.
Correct.
There's no profit margin of any kind going on here. There's probably a deficit for us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, wine costs money.
Electricity,
the cake at the end costs money. Not getting paid, no commissions, no pyramid schemes.
To quote Brendie, there are no pyramids of any kind.
no penny
So.
coins.
Yeah.
Carrie Mitchell said also, what we learned about credit score literally floored me. I've been obsessed with getting my credit score back on track since some really bad financial crisis in our life. My new goal is to have no credit score like Dave Ramsey, so the credit reporting agencies think I'm deceased.
Love Carrie.
And Keith is going to talk about that on the real estate night, about how to offset that for credit scores for home financing.
And I would like to say, if any FPU grads are listening right now, don't just be the person that's just that viewer that's just lingering there. Ask a question and or encourage other people that are watching this later. We would like for you to contribute and say why you're taking FPU, or why you took FPU, and how it changed your life.
I also want to point out that Carrie is super, super smart. She's a math teacher. She's the head of the math department in William S. Hart District. And I love that you just had a complete mindset shift on a cultural norm about, your credit score, we have to worship the credit score. It's so powerful to hear that, and I think it's just another demonstration of, like, you don't know what you don't know, like, and until you take the class and you hear the information.
What's fantastic is I am not good at math at all. And I love that Carrie shows up to class wearing a shirt that says, math is hard, so is life.
Get over it.
Get over it.
Yeah.
And that is why she is the department head.
Yes.
So it's fantastic. So I'm not good at math, and yet I coordinate a financial piece to a university class. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. It is exciting.
Just gonna get this really quick.
Are you dehydrating over there?
I am. I just need to stay hydrated. Susie Zimmer Johnson asks a question. Could I hear a success story?
Oh, yeah. Well, sure. I mean, we have plenty. Is there a certain kind you're looking for? Susie, we can't hear you.
Talk louder.
Susie, speak up.
Susie,
You're really faint.
Why don't you do, like,
we have some other
I'll do.
I love the foundations one.
Okay. Or I know what one foundation ones you're gonna do. So you do foundation, and I'll do family. Go.
Okay. So Susie, the foundations in personal finance, which is the high school version. So Legacy taught it initially a couple of years ago. Chris Page teaches it. And we would go in the beginning of the class, say hi, this is why we care about it. And then at the end of the class, we would go in and ask them questions about what they had learned. These are 7th graders using the high school curriculum of foundations. So I'm going to try and make this a lot faster than it would normally be. I ask a bunch of questions, and I ask the class, how many of you opened savings account as a result of taking foundations? And several of them raised their hands. Oh, what are you saving for? A very elaborate Lego kit, great. We got to this other girl, and she said, I'm saving for college now because I don't want student loans. And we sussed out that it was because of the class that she had come to that conclusion. So I'm like, that's awesome. And I think she wanted to go to MIT, if I remember correctly. So the next semester, when we came in and we met the new class, I saw her in the hallway. And she used to, like, hey, Miss Neylan, oh my gosh, it's so great. And I don't know how I remembered it, but I said, hey, didn't you open a savings account? Yeah. And I said, oh, well, how's it going? And she said, oh, I have $6,000 in it. It was less than 8 months since I had seen her last. And I was trying to maintain my composure, like, that's totally normal. And I said, so this is an 8th grader I'm talking to. You have $6,000 in your account? And she's like, yeah. And I said, okay. So then I asked her a couple of questions. I said, what's your income source? Like, how are you funding that savings account? And I'm like, I'm so proud of you. It's amazing. How are you doing that? And she said, well, babysitting money, birthday money. I've been asking my dad for more jobs at his business so that I can save more money. I'm trying to, like, not start crying as I'm listening to this. And I said, let me ask you, if you didn't have your savings account and you hadn't taken foundations and learned all the things that you learned, compound interest, cash over debt, would you have saved all that money, you think? And this is my group. She's like, oh, no. I go, what do you think you would have spent it on? And she goes, oh, clothes, food, and here's my favorite, lip gloss, like that's
very specific.
$6,000 this 8th grader has in their account because she took foundations and she has a goal to put herself through college and take out no student loans. 7th grade. Like we started her in 7th grade. So that's one of my success stories, and I can't wait to catch up with her, you know, every couple of years and to see where she is, because I have a feeling that changed her life in the future. Okay?
That's great.
In terms of my favorite, last Facebook Live I answered, there was a marriage that very specifically was on the rocks and almost headed to a divorce attorney's office, and FPU was their last stop before that step, and that's always my favorite. But in terms of general favorites, here's what I hear about 12 to 18 months after somebody takes FPU. If they fully implement the principles, you don't have to be debt-free in that time. But my favorite success stories, Susie, are I am communicating with my spouse better than ever. And these are from people that have been married for 25 plus years. That's a favorite. Or now my whole family's involved in this, and I've got my kids that are budgeting, and they're excited about going. When you take FPU and you implement it as, you know, as a married couple, if you're, you know, doing this as a team, the whole family changes. And once the whole family gets on board, it shifts the priorities of the whole family. So my favorite success stories are hearing how that shifted the last, you know, 12 to 18 months since I've seen him last. So I don't even know how many people I've helped go through it. I should probably figure that out. But
numbers aren't her favorite.
I'm not gonna nag it. But it's exciting to hear, you know, now my kids are excited about this, and now we're not fighting about this anymore. We have a goal together. And then I will say, I don't know if Emily Strawn is watching this, but they went into debt every year to go to Disneyland. And so then after our FPU class, they saved to go to Disneyland and had a separate accounting for all of the food that they would spend at Disneyland.
So cool.
So instead of not having to go to Disneyland, they had a plan and they had a system. And that was a cool story, because then their kids thought that it was amazing, because they weren't going to be able to go anymore. But FPU keeps kids happy, I guess is what I'm saying.
That's basically the tagline. Leanne, I'm so sorry if I murder your last name.
Schutz?
Yes, Schutz.
Okay, so that is Logan Greenfield's sister. And
Yes, okay,
we
Leanne.
love you. And you've worked really, really, really hard to make major financial changes, you and your husband. We're so proud of you. Even moved out of state to reduce their overhead so that they could pay off debt
I don't
faster.
know you, but I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
She says FPU changed her life. It really is worth the initial investment. So it sounds
good.
like.
Oh, you're addressing that $100 question. Thank
Yeah,
you.
maybe so. Susie Johnson is just amazed that you're not getting paid. What? That's probably a joke.
Yeah, probably. She's funny.
I don't know if it is. Melinda Evans Castle. I'm at work, so I can't listen now, but we just started his book, and it's been life-changing already. Thank you for all your encouragement.
So cool.
If you've not taken the class, you should take the class after you read the book.
And Melinda, because you're always so awesome and commenting and liking on all of our stuff, are you reading the book because of our online?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, or is that how did you start doing that?
She's at work, so she may not answer that right this minute. But
She just said that.
we hope,
Told you
Melinda, that
she's
you
at
go
work.
make that money, girl.
You good job. Did you say
We,
girl?
yeah, I did. It was weird.
Yeah.
I'm not usually that kind of a
See, the
person.
wine
But,
glass is gone.
yep. Somebody. It's weird. I don't know if I poured it out or what happened. Jennifer Crawford.
A leak.
I think
Jennifer
there
Crawford.
must be.
Dave Crawford's wife.
Yeah, she said, Dave Crawford, my hub's Dave Crawford, and I love being debt free. We love FPU.
Yes. Great job, you guys. And they have hosted it many times in their own home with different couples and people helping change their lives.
Courtney Brayton says,
Hey,
we took
Courtney.
FPU in 2007 and we still love it. We still live it.
And
So I'm so
love it.
sorry. And love it. Our 15-year-old is doing FPU this year for homeschool.
Yes.
So great.
Courtney.
That's awesome.
And so what her 15-year-old is doing is the homeschool version of foundations
Yes.
in personal
Yes.
finance. So.
And a little shout out to Courtney. She does all of our listing virtual tours. You do a good job. Okay.
Bethany Gonzalez says, can't talk about FPU without repping sharks.
Can't. It's an impossibility for me. Are we
Oh,
gonna talk
I'm
about it?
sorry, Susie. I'm sorry if I offended you. You don't seem easily offended, but she said that wasn't a joke. I had no idea.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy to me. Oh yeah, so let's say it again. They're not getting paid.
Yeah, we're not getting paid. This is because
in
we
any
care.
regard, they're probably spending their own money.
Should we like tell people how we met?
Yeah, let's
not
do it
on
again.
our-
Let's review it again.
Let's do it because
We'll see
I think
it.
that goes into why we're not getting paid, or I mean, it's more just I'm super passionate about this. I don't know that through
Did
it
that
all.
translate? Did that land on camera?
We're picking
So
that up.
super passionate about this. Summary, quick, because Facebook Lives are not supposed to be 2 hours. That's what we read.
I mean,
That's what we read. That's what we read.
the thing is, you don't believe me.
You don't believe me, but it's true. Facebook Lives are supposed to be short. But I'm super passionate about this. It changed our family's life big time. And in the process of trying to buy a home, I was going around the valley interviewing real estate agents and interviewed this lady in
This
Green.
crazy cat.
And when I was giving her our spiel, I wanted to make sure she believed me in terms of we're not going to be buying a house that we can't afford. We have a very specific budget. And when I say we have a budget, I mean
Here it
we
is.
actually have a budget. Because what I have found as a coordinator is that about 99% of people say they have a budget and they don't have a budget.
No, it's mostly
Or they have a
there.
budget and they don't use it like I do. I have a budget, but I don't really.
Or yeah, it's just in your head.
It's just a guideline that's for somebody else.
That's just for somebody else. So in interviewing her, it was kind of an intense interview.
And
I mean-
and the behind the curtain is that I interviewed the client too, so it was an interview.
You're a couple
both
of
ways.
intense people, so.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, they
So
had
it
some
worked
choice
out.
lines in there that I loved.
It worked out. So we hired her. She passed the test, and in that conversation, Dave Ramsey's name was definitely brought up. So, to a roundabout way to answer your question, Susie, we're not paid for this because we see so dramatically more than anything how this changes people's life almost instantly. I mean, you've only been taking the class
Right.
for 2
Minutes.
I mean, you have gone to 2 sessions, Susie, and I see the fire in your eyes. And I actually sent my husband a text about you, by the by, because I can tell right away if somebody's got it, and you guys have it. So
No
it's,
pressure.
it's people like you, seriously no pressure, but 12 to
Message
18
you.
months, I expect an announcement. But when I see that in people's faces and their eyes, I don't need to get paid. Again, it sounds so cheesy as I'm
Yeah.
saying it out loud,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Yeah, it's truly coming that we come from contribution, and I think one of the things Brendie was saying, and I'll add to it, is that we come from contribution because it changed our lives
Yeah.
individually, and then how we came together through business and through them having a really set budget and having really strict criteria, which I love as a real estate agent. It's really a drag when most people come to you going, well, we only want to spend X, and then by the time you end up, you're $150,000 down the road. What they did by having real control of their finances allowed them to make amazing decisions in the real estate arena, which from an equity point of view, now they're in a really good spot. I know they don't mind me saying all this, in a super great spot. So my point is that how we came together is because we had each individually had our own lives changed, and we were like, where I'm like, yes, I respect that entire thing because I too have gone through this and I know the power of this. So when something's impacted your life, I hate this example because of all the reasons, but when people are like, if you had the cure to an incurable disease, would you share it with people or would you keep it to yourself? Like, well, duh. Well, we would share it. I don't know about everybody else, but and there's an incurable disease going on, if you want to call it that, in our country, that we're in some serious downward spiral from a debt point of view. And we're like, it's not that complicated to reverse this and to change through one generation of our entire future.
Serious.
So we're not making money. Yeah, we're not making money. Really, if you want to pay us, invite people to the class, do it yourself, change your life, invite people to the class, help us do this in our community and in our beyond our community. That would be our payment.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Melinda did chime in. Turns out she was listening and hiding at work.
She's little, so she can do that.
And she answered your question by, she is very little. She answered your question by saying major financial issues, and we knew we needed to do something about it. You talked so much about it. You talked about it so much.
That's cool.
So that, yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you for your candor, and second of all, thanks for the power of social media. My gosh, like Melinda and I went to college together. I think actually we probably all went to college with Melinda, and just through social media, being able to stay in touch. So I'm really glad that. So for everyone else who's annoyed at how much I might post about it, here's the reason why. Don't care. This is for you, Melinda.
Carrie Mitchell says, math is hard, Brendie, get over it.
I'm trying.
She wants you to get over it.
So is life, so we're getting over that too.
Oh, just keep on pouring, sister.
Getting over it.
Keep on pouring.
Getting over that difficult math.
Okay, I think Flossie Vanderhork says,
oh, hey Flossie.
I agree with you, Sam. If you don't invest, where is the value? People don't realize they're paying more money to be in debt than to get out of it.
Totally.
Ooh, good line.
That is a good line. That's a great line.
With fidelity. Good job.
Okay.
I know Floss.
Yeah, you know
Okay,
Flossie.
there's that.
Yeah. So we're all connected.
Great.
Connected.
Susie also responded that she wasn't offended that I said, what I said.
Okay.
I would love to hear if you've met Dave. He should keep you both on retainer.
I've met Dave.
Brendie met Dave.
I've met Dave. I'm really a nerd. But we definitely flew to Nashville, not just to meet Dave, but I convinced my husband to make a little side trip.
Awesome.
And we went, and my husband and I signed the debt-free wall. There is a debt-free wall.
So cool.
And we met Dave, and we have our picture taken with him.
Nice.
That's great.
I understand that it's nerdy, and I embrace it, because
don't care.
if 100% of people think that that's weird, then, I mean...
Hey, he's a guy who lost everything, rebuilt it all, and then spends his whole life helping other people like make major changes in their lives. He's someone that I would like to know.
Yeah.
Just because who wouldn't want to know someone like that?
Sure.
Not that we're worshiping Dave. It's not like an Apollo Cephas
He's shorter
situation.
than you think.
Oh.
He seems tall. I think it's because he's so
His
commanding. He's very
his
commanding.
personality is super bold, and then you're like,
Hey,
Yeah,
guys.
there's that.
Hey, there's that. Okay.
Well, great. Jessica Frank says, we love FPU.
Jessica,
All caps.
yes. Hi, Jonathan and Jessica.
Oh, sorry. We were able to quit solid, stable careers and go to commission-based jobs with the money we had saved because of this class.
Yep.
We are still debt-free and working to save more to have a bigger 6-month mark.
Good job, you
That's
guys.
great.
Yeah.
Jessica, so I worked with Jessica
Yes, at the
and Jonathan,
Mm-hmm.
and both of them at the city of Santa Clarita, and they started our class and had to drop out because this is not private because you've already had the baby, but she found that she was pregnant halfway through the class, and so she had to drop out for just some craziness at home reasons. And they're the type of couple that doesn't matter what's in their path. If they have decided as a team they were going to do this and they were going to be debt free,
They're hardcore.
there was nothing that was going to stand in their way, even a embryo. That's the line.
That is the
That's
line.
the line
That's
of the night.
Hashtag
Thanks, Jessica, for
even
joining.
an embryo. Yeah. And I think, Jessica, you and I maybe have never met in person, as far as I know, but I love your husband. He's fantastic, and I love your parents. Obviously, I know them, and you guys have been quite an inspiration, and you're compelling. You're really, you're right. Whatever's in front of them, they just attack it. You guys are awesome. Not just in Financial Peace University, too, and other things.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Of course. You've earned it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What constitutes an emergency for your emergency fund? What should you use your emergency fund on?
Not Christmas presents.
Never. Christmas is not an emergency. Never has been and never will be.
For about 2,000 years,
And
it's been known.
It's kind of consistently not an emergency. But, okay, so this is a question that I do get relatively consistent. Because people, if they get an emergency fund, all it is to them is a beacon of excuses. And that's another good line. Beacon of excuses.
Can you write that one down?
So,
Crew.
Got it.
Here's what I have told. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. I was going to talk about my mom, but I'm not going to.
Oh, okay.
But if your emergency does not involve calling 911, broken bones, or flooding in your house, then it probably is not an emergency. An emergency is not furniture that broke. It is not. Are you thinking about my table?
Yeah.
We'll
I mean,
circle back to
yeah,
that.
that's so great.
But you really have to make sure that your emergencies are actually emergencies. What happens, I would say that most of the time the people that ask me that question don't actually have an emergency fund. They're asking that question in anticipation of having a chunk of money, and they're asking me already, how close can I get to the line without breaking the rules?
Sure.
Most of the time, if people have gone through the baby steps and they're at the baby step where you have a full emergency fund, you're not touching that because you know how hard it was to get to that, and so you're not touching that if you see a cute couch at Home Goods or Cost Plus World Market. So you don't touch that. It's very
Okay, I'm laughing at this. I'm just going to interject because I know somebody, Sam, we know somebody who does financial counseling, and he uses the Dave Ramsey principles. And a woman that he was counseling bought a new couch with her emergency fund, and he said, that is not an emergency. And she said, you didn't see the couch.
okay.
So it's funny that you keep using that example because that's real life.
Oh, well,
It's totally real.
I have heard that, not as specific, but it's interesting what people will try to.
Yep. I don't know.
Is everything okay?
You saw it, right? No.
This is it's a pterodactyl.
There was a bug trying to get my nose. So that's a very common question.
Okay.
You make a great point that the people who are asking that generally, not always, but generally are the ones without an emergency fund. I would also say that juxtaposed to that is people who are not used to telling themselves no are probably trying to find
That's hard.
that.
It's a new
that
skill.
line. It's a new skill, yeah, to develop. And again, no judgment. We should always say that 100 times too. There's never, ever, ever any judgment about any past financial choices. We're probably going to make some lame ones in the future too. So whatever you've done or whatever, no judgment. However, let's call it what it is, that we have to adopt new skills. We have to adopt new mindsets and new habits around money.
Leanne has a comment about emergency funds.
Yeah, Leanne. Oh yeah, yes. Good.
She said, so we have an emergency fund that does not get touched. My husband's job is ending soon, and so we've put as much as we can into that account. If he doesn't find a new job before it ends, it will be an inconvenience, but it won't be a disaster. So we will be okay with our emergency for a bit.
Yeah, the point of an emergency.
Yeah, that's a
the
great
point.
Thank you, Leanne.
That is an emergency. And
No income is an emergency.
And no income is an actual emergency.
Right.
So it's a fantastic scenario.
Good job. I love that you're always on point. Thank you. Thanks for joining us for this.
Yeah. James Parker has a question.
Hello, James.
Hey, James.
Hey.
From your facilitating experience, what is the one habit you hope to see couples build during the 9 weeks that will have the greatest impact after the 9 weeks? That's a great question.
One
Good
habit
one,
during the 9 weeks, budget. Doing the budget together.
The budget committee.
The budget committee meeting is during the 9 weeks. If you're taking the class, it's a couple, partner, spouse, you have to do that together. The person with a natural gift makes the budget, but both people have to participate in the budget finalizing process. So that habit in and of itself, James, that's probably one of the best questions I've ever heard.
That's a great question.
Because 9 weeks, you will learn a lot, but if you could just hone in one skill, it would definitely be the budget committee meeting.
That's a great question. And you know what? Thank you, James. Because it causes me to think, we want everyone to learn everything, of course. But if you were to only choose one thing, and we all know that I'm a big fan of the book, The One Thing, and James is now too. But if there was one thing to learn from it that would, thus by doing it, make everything else easier or maybe even unnecessary, it's the budget. Yeah, great question. Super great question.
Okay.
Holly, you're doing a fantastic job. You're managing a lot. You're managing comments.
Thank you so much.
Questions. You're managing wine pour.
The glass is empty.
Well, you didn't manage everything.
I did not.
But you're working on it.
I'm keeping first things first.
Yep.
That's my theme for the year, appropriately. Okay, Emma Stedman says, because we live in California and home prices are $5 signs, she put, it might take, parentheses, it might take longer to save here than most states. What are your thoughts on doing baby step 3B while starting baby steps 4 and 5? Can you explain what those baby steps are and then answer them?
Yeah, go for it. I'll jump in at different.
So
you gonna read from the good book, the second good book?
I'm sorry, your name is Emma, right?
Emma, yes.
Okay.
Emma
So
was
Emma,
a student of mine in event planning.
Yes.
hi, student of Sam's. I am somebody who has purchased a home in Southern California, so I am speaking from experience that it is possible. When you are, okay, so baby step number 1 is putting $1,000 into an emergency fund. Baby step number 2 is paying off all debt except the mortgage. Baby step number 3 is an emergency fund for between 3 to 6 months. It's not technically in the book, but what Emma's referring to is baby step 3B is down payment on a house. If you're in that 1 to 3 and you decide, we really want to buy a house wherever you are, in Southern California, baby step 3B, you could be there a while. Mm-hmm. So I will say from experience, what we decided to do was stay there a little bit longer because we wanted to have at least 20% to avoid PMI. It was a personal decision.
And they did it.
And we did it. Dave Ramsey doesn't necessarily, there's some people that are just totally Dave Ramsey hardcore and they have to do everything that Dave Ramsey says. If you want to do that, Dave Ramsey is not anti-PMI, which might surprise some. Private mortgage insurance. But he would encourage people to avoid it. So it depends on how much you're willing to sacrifice. You can get there faster than you think if you're really super dedicated and funnel everything to that. But you certainly can do baby step 3B along with, this is a long, very technical question. I appreciate
You're doing great.
Step 4, 5, and 6. 4 is saving for retirement. Step 5 is pay off the mortgage early, and step 6 is college. Well, pay off the house early, build wealth and give. So it depends. So I hope that answers your question. Mm-hmm. But it's possible. Mm-hmm. It just depends on how fast you want to get there.
And if you have any follow-up or if that's, let us know.
The best part of what just happened, viewer, because you can't see it, is that as Holly was telling Emma, hey, if you have anything else, she was pointing to it as if she was speaking to Emma.
I am speaking to Emma.
She was saying, hey, Emma, if you have any...
Emma, how old are you, by the way? Mm-hmm. We'll wait the awkward 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I would like to know how old, because you said
she's mid-20s. Yeah. Mid-20s, right? Can we say that online?
Mid-20s. She's a millennial.
Yeah. She's 23!
23, see? So a 23-year-old talking about investing 15%, saving for her future children's college education, and paying off the house early. That's what she's talking about right now.
23.
America.
Yes. Dave, I hope you're watching.
He is. There's 26 people on here. He's bound to be... Oh, 25, I'm sorry. He's bound to be one of them.
He just dropped off.
He must have just quit out.
And let's just also say Emma is married. She has 1 child, and she's pregnant with their second.
Yes.
And she's 23 years old, talking about these very, very life-changing grown-up.
So, Susie, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
Emily White says, Bren, I love your hair.
Thank you, Emily.
She loves your hair.
It's good.
Emily was my roommate at one point.
Oh,
she was?
Congratulations, Emily.
I didn't know that. Yep. So fun.
I have another vote for president from Sarah Dyer.
Sarah, good job. Campaign manager right there.
Susie, not Holly. I'm Holly. She says I'm slaying these, so I'm getting some props here.
Susie is saying you're slaying.
Susie says Holly slays these. Couple high fives.
Yeah.
Okay.
We determined after the first Facebook Live that we would never have an FPU Facebook Live without Holly. So.
Well, someone's gotta
keep all this.
Adjust the tripod. I'm happy to do it. I have another question. Is it possible to get a new car? How do you do that without incurring debt?
Oh, good one.
How's it possible to do that?
Go ahead.
So pretend that cars break down. Okay. So
journey with me.
Pretending.
Just pretend that cars don't last forever. So the mindset of that is you have to expect that you're going to need a new car at some point. So the trick to being able to buy a new car without financing, which I know is crazy town, but track with me for a second. So if you know that cars don't last forever and you can start putting aside $100 a month, depending on how much you have, $200-$300 a month towards a new car, even though you have a car currently, you will eventually have a few $1,000s if your car breaks down or if you need to get a new one. So the whole how you can do this is you have to be thinking ahead.
Right.
The hard part is if you realize too late that cars break down, then you're kind of in a hard place, and you are in a corner, and you usually are facing financing or borrowing money or
borrowing cars
or the local transit, very affordable. So
Very affordable.
and we just got a coupon today for 2 round trip free
Metrolink
rides.
rides.
So you could go around and ask all your neighbors for theirs.
Sure.
There's a lot of options, but are you going to be able to get a car that is maybe super fancy and has Wi-Fi built in? Probably not. But you can. That's a thing.
But
Like,
why do you need Wi-Fi while you're
don't.
driving?
You
Unless
don't.
you're listening to a good podcast.
Very unsafe.
I
So
want to say, as a moment of like, good job, everyone in this room. Every single person in this room drives a car that they paid cash for.
Woohoo!
really proud
Virtual
of all
high five! Boom!
oh, I didn't know I was supposed to say boom.
Oh, we
gonna
didn't either,
again.
but
1, 2, 3.
boom!
And we're down to 1 viewer.
We've dropped to 18.
So I don't know. Yeah,
Do we have
if that
any
answers your
questions?
question.
That answers my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you are welcome.
Emma 7 again. Also, just have to say how much Dave's app Every Dollar, which is called
Oh,
Every
that's a
Dollar,
good
has
one.
helped us.
That's a
wasn't
good
too
point.
familiar. I wasn't too familiar with a zero-based budget until we downloaded it, and it has been a game changer.
Thank you, Emma. That's really helpful.
Should
so,
we highlight what a zero-based budget
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great.
And
Yeah.
when we say we, why don't you do that?
is? So a zero-based budget is a fancy way to say that every dollar is allocated in the month. So if you make $3,000 in the month, you need to know where every single one of those dollars is going. So you don't have a really large miscellaneous account at the
Or
end,
any.
or any accounts.
Yeah.
You need to know where every single dollar goes. So the Every Dollar budget app that Emma was talking about is basically an app version of the paper version that's in this. So at the end of the month, you get to 0. Not that you have 0 in your bank account, which I need to clarify.
Right.
Because some people were really trying to get to $0 in their bank account, which I don't recommend.
Not a goal. Not a goal. You should.
It shouldn't be a goal.
Try to achieve.
So, but that's what that means. So, good job, Emma.
Yeah. And keyword, every dollar is allocated somewhere. Yeah. Really great point on the technology using the app. Good job. And she's a Gen Y actually. So
Gen Y,
that's good.
millennial, probably.
I think she's a Gen Y. 23.
I think she's a millennial.
That's
Okay.
yeah.
My
We'll Google
sister's
that.
25.
We'll Google that.
She's a millennial. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Here's another question. I'm a little hesitant to ask it because it might be a little touchy, but I'm still going to ask
Let's
it.
do it.
You can tell me if you don't want to answer it.
Touchy.
What is a reasonable dollar amount for food for a family of fill in the blank? 2, 4, 6, 1.
You want me to start? Okay.
Well, I'll just give this qualifier
Yeah.
and then you can give the tech side of it. I think why Holly said it's a little bit touchy, I want to acknowledge that we're acknowledging that everybody has a different philosophy on what they should and should not be eating and the cost of that. That being said, some people are like, we're totally fine with fast food. Some people are like, clean eating, no matter what, under no circumstances, anything other than that, and everything in between. And all of that has a different cost and value to all of it. So I just wanted to say it out loud. We understand that everyone has different philosophies on that.
So I would say I don't care what your philosophy is,
This is why.
except for, do you have the money to pay for it? So if you are the super clean train, then you need to be able to have, math still applies to you, Carrie Mitchell. You'll appreciate that. So if you only want to eat kale, then you need to budget that. And
Organic
that's
kale.
totally organic kale that is grain fed.
Which I do.
Oh my gosh. I think you mean grass fed. Grain fed's not a good thing. Just kidding.
Well,
Shoot.
is kale getting fed?
I think that's the
Yeah,
point.
that's the
So
you know what? Yeah.
if that is the lifestyle that you want, that's amazing. But you need to be able to budget that. Math still counts in that category. If you're the, Jack in the Box is my jam, that's great. But you also still need to budget that. What I see as a coordinator when I ask people to tell me how much you pay for food every month, usually it's they make up a number and they say it out loud, and it's usually between $400 and $500,
which is a lie.
Not accurate. So
regardless of the number of people.
Regardless of the number of
Okay.
people, and so Sam always says, no judgment.
Yeah. No judgment.
If you're learning, that's totally fine. But what I see as a coordinator is people say, I think I spend between $400 or $500 a month on food, and I would say, does that include Costco? No, that does not include Costco. Does that include your actual grocery store, whether you shop at Albertsons, Ralph's, Safeway, Vons, whatever? Does that include eating out? No. Does that include your lunches during the day? No. Does that include your kids' lunches during the day? So it's 5 different categories that I just named. Starbucks should be its own thing, but I mean, like, 6, 7, 8, all of these things during the month that you touch with food, is that sustainable? So if you have a very specific lifestyle food-wise that you'd like to follow, make sure that your budget lines up with that. And if you want to get to a certain point, the sooner you get your finances in order, the sooner your food and your budget and your dining can add up to that.
Amen and amen.
So there's not really a guideline.
It varies, as Sam says. There's so many variables and very specific. Sometimes there's medical issues. Sometimes there's personal convictions. That's totally fine. But math matters.
Math matters.
So
Hashtag math. I'm writing that down. Math.
Yeah.
Matters.
It's kind of, so I was in a conversation with someone one time who's like, oh, I'm totally debt free, except I have credit cards and a car payment. And I said, well, then you're not debt free, you have debt. Like, words have meanings, and let's just own the meaning of them. And I remember him telling me that he should be able to have whatever he wanted. You know, if I work so hard, I should be able to have. And I said, hey, you can have whatever you want, you just have to be able to afford it. And I think that's Brendie's point. Like, eat however you want, just make sure that you can afford that. And that that numbers matter, right? And the numbers tell the story. Like, if you want your numbers to tell that story, make sure your numbers support that. And
Sarah Dyer has a comment.
Hello, Sarah.
She says, Brendie, I still use the Capital One 360 accounts you told me about, so I save monthly for things such as Christmas gifts, vacation, home repairs. Instead of going into debt for these, I save ahead. This is a big step for me. Thank you.
Yay!
Good job.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Good job.
Good job, Sarah.
Oh, I'm thanking you. Good job.
Yeah, good job to you.
Good job all around.
Very cool.
So it's a big good job to thank off. Okay, I think maybe we're going to come in for a landing on this. Unless, does anyone have, if you have a really burning question, you got to type it in like the next 2 seconds.
Fiery, hot burning.
Oh, okay, you don't? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And let's just point out that the last time we had over 2,200 views over the course of the weekend after we did this. So we want to thank everyone who was a part of that, and we're going to see if we can get to 7,592.
This is a very specific goal.
It's also very ambitious, but I think it can be done.
needs
You
to share
16,
this.
you go tell your friends.
Share it all around.
You 17, yeah.
All right, we don't know when the next one will be, but on behalf of Dave, maybe not as tall as you think, Dave, we want to thank you for being here. Are we done?
Hey guys, you did a great job. See you soon, friends.
Okay.
Bye.
And
Bye.